Well, good morning, everyone. I guess good afternoon if you're tuning in from New Zealand or from any other country, but thank you so much for joining us. We really do appreciate it. I'm Lauren from the Zoho Australia and New Zealand team, and I will just be giving a quick introduction to today's session and then popping over to Rana. So just a quick agenda for today. As I said, I'll give a quick intro, and then Rana will kick off how to use LinkedIn to increase sales. So she'll touch on what is social selling, how you can generate leads, and we'll provide a bit of a demo on how to get started with LinkedIn Sales Navigator. We do have some time at the end of the session for questions, so you're more than welcome to put those in the chat box throughout. There is also a questions tab you can use that Rana can revert back to at the end of the session, but I'll give you a run through on Showtime in just a second. So if you aren't familiar, Zoho, we are a technology company or a SaaS company. We've been in operation for 26 years now with 50 different applications that support the varying needs of businesses. So whether that's enhancing CX, finance, productivity, collaboration, HR, basically the whole works. And within Zoho, we actually do run entirely on Zoho. So there is most definitely a product that suits the need of each business. We have a presence in over 180 countries, 75 million users, and I am one of our 10,000 employees across the globe. Another thing that we always like to note about Zoho is we very much take your privacy as our responsibility. So your data is incredibly safe with us. We will never sell your information to a third party, particularly for advertising, and you won't come across any third-party ads within Zoho apps whatsoever. I will put my contact information in the chat box. If anyone has any questions that are specific to Zoho, you're more than welcome to reach out to me, and I'll get back to you straight away. Just a little quick housekeeping on Showtime, quite simple, speaks for itself, but on the left you will see a few different tabs. The question tab, you can leave questions there, as I said, that Rana can revert back to at the end, or you're more than welcome to pop them in the chat box, and she can also do that at the end as well. My colleagues and I will be answering questions throughout in the chat box. Please talk to us. It's quite lonely if you don't, and I promise we are super friendly. So we'll also share a few links if Rana touches on anything that I think is helpful there. And you will see a little pin next to the cross at the top of the chat box. If you'd like to keep your chat open throughout the session and have your slides full screen, just click that pin and that will allow you to see both as we go. No handouts today either, by the way, guys, or polls, but we'll send you a copy of the slides and a recording of this session at the end as well. So we're super excited to have Rana today. Rana is the founder of the Selling Academy and Employment Services Training. So she's a TEDx speaker, B2B sales trainer, and was named as one of the 15 sales experts and coaches to watch in 2021 by the Australian Business Journal. So she has an abundance of knowledge. We're super excited that she's going to be sharing some of that with us today. And there I am. I'm your host. So I'm Lauren. I work on the business development team for Zoho. I'm based on the Gold Coast in our Gold Coast office. And I've been with Zoho for about 3 years, and it's probably the most wonderful company I've ever worked for. Huge advocate for Zoho and everything they do in the tech space, as well as outside of that. I will share a link to our website if you want to see a little bit more about what we do. But hopefully you're all willing to chat to me today. We'll be chatting away in there. So I'll pass to Rana now and touch back with you guys at the end of the session. But again, thank you all for joining us, and we hope you enjoy.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lauren. So do you mind giving me access to sharing the slides, if that's okay? This webinar is how to use LinkedIn to increase your sales. And so in the next about 45 minutes to 50 minutes, I'm going to be sharing with you simple and applicable tools of how you can increase your sales through using LinkedIn. And before I begin, also, I'm going to share with you that LinkedIn is not the only tool. It's actually one of the tools. So although I'll be talking about LinkedIn and how you can increase your sales, it's I want you to also think about how you can integrate it with all the other prospecting tools. So whether you have a business or you're doing business development or you've just started in sales, it's important to think about, okay, this is LinkedIn. It's just one prospecting technology, not the only prospecting technology. So there's a lot of prospecting technologies. There's a phone, there's email, there's networking, there's door knocking, there's, also your marketing team might have email marketing. So it's important to think about LinkedIn in a way that we can integrate it into the other technologies that we're using. But in order for you to succeed at LinkedIn, it's not an overnight success. So, but also you need a few things to be able to succeed at LinkedIn. Number one, you have to have courage, because at the end of the day, you're going to be connecting with strangers or connecting with people, or maybe posting things that are outside of your comfort zone. Some of you might have to go on camera and share a little bit about who you are and what you do. Other times you might have to prospect and engage with people in their inbox and, say, hey, I'd love to meet with you, or tell them exactly about what you're selling. So if you don't have courage to do that, then it's not going to work out for you, especially in selling or business. Number two, it's a lot of hard work. So it's not an overnight success where you think that you might post for 5 days and suddenly you're going to become, you're going to have lots of sales and it's an overnight success. You have to put in the work, and it's a lot of work. And number three, it's consistency. So usually the results will compound, especially in business to business. Results usually compound after 90 days. So a lot of people, what they do is they go and then they send a few emails or they post a little bit on LinkedIn and they're not getting results. And then they're like, this doesn't work, I give up. So marketing and sales, especially when we're personal branding, this takes time. It's not like something that you do overnight. Sometimes you might be putting in 6 months worth of work to get the results or to get the return on investment or on your time investment as well. Okay, so I'm just going to go back. Let's go here. Okay, perfect. All right, so let me think about what the next point I was going to talk. So I'm going to share with you some statistics, and this was going to be through a slide. But here are some of the statistics I want to share with you about social selling. So, okay, let's get back up a bit. What is social selling? So some people might not know what that is. Social selling, by definition, is about creating and maintaining relationships with prospects and customers via social media and whatever social media you want to use. However, studies do show that LinkedIn is one of the best tools to use and the most effective tools to use for business-to-business development. Now, the world of selling has changed, and now technology has always been a part of selling. Okay, so we have the phone, email, even fax was a technology that people used back in the days. But in the last several years, I don't know exactly years, could have been 10 years, there is a new way to reach prospects, and that is through social media. In fact, it's a more efficient way, as you can build trust and credibility and stay on top of mind before you even get to that sales meeting. I can't tell you the amount of people that I've had sales meetings with, whether it's on the phone or going face to face, and they have already bought into me and what I do, and they already made up their mind that they are buying from me before we even get to the sales meeting. That's because sometimes it took 4 or 5 years. They've been watching me, they've been looking at my work, and it took them 5 years to make that decision to build trust. So sometimes it's not overnight, right? Okay, so some of the stats that I want to share with you about social selling. Number one, 78% of salespeople using social media perform better than their peers. Number two, IBM increased their sales by 400% thanks to their inbound social selling program. Number three, 63.4% of social sellers reported an increase in company sales revenue compared to 41.2% of non-social sellers. And number four, 75% of B2B buyers consult with social media when they're making a purchase. So they're not just looking at your company brand or website, they're looking at you and your personal profiles as well. All right, so there are 2 ways to use LinkedIn. I feel like I have to be animated because there's no slides. Hopefully the camera's on. Okay, awesome. Okay, so there's 2 ways to be using LinkedIn. Both are equally important. So number one, it's building your authority. And number two, the second way is generating leads. Now, both are equally important because what happens is people, sometimes people are drawn to one or the other. There is the types of people that like building their authority, and they're drawn to that mostly, maybe 90% or 100% of the time. They're sharing content on LinkedIn. They are becoming a little bit more popular, famous. They're building their authority. And then there's the other type of people. They hide behind the computer and they're just sending sales emails, but they never show their face or who they are and what they can do. Now, it's important to utilize both, because if we just build authority, we might make lots of friends and become popular, but we're not closing a lot of deals because we're not really going out there and talking about what we do specifically or trying to get those meetings with people. If we just generate leads, people are going to be a little bit suspicious and think, who is this person? I don't know anything about them. Now, let me share with you the first part, and then we'll get into the generating leads. So the first part is people when you send them an email, they've never seen your content, they don't know who you are, you have to work really hard at getting their attention. So many times they're going to be like, who are you? And why should I care about what you have to say? So at the end of the day, when people are like, who are you? Why should I care? Many times that happens because you might be sending an email to an exec that you want their time and business, or you might be sending them a LinkedIn message. And many times they've never seen you add value on the platform. They have not seen you build your personal brand. They don't know anything about you. They haven't built that know, like, trust. So what ends up happening is they ignore your message. However, once you start building your personal brand and your trust, people are more likely to respond to you, open up your emails, or even say no thank you, and interact with you. So where does authority come from? So the first part I want to talk about is authority. So back in the, I think, 1980s, if you've heard of Robert Cialdini, so he wrote a great marketing book called Influence. And he's a very well-known social psychologist. And he wrote this book, but before he wrote this book, he went undercover and he did research undercover. He went to car dealerships, fundraising firms, and telemarketing firms. And he discovered, I think there were 6 principles of influence that he discovered. But one of those principles of influence is something called authority. People are more influenced by those people that have authority. It's authority about what you know, your credibility, how good you are, how good your brand is, and how much they know, like, and trust you. Okay? So how do we build authority? There are many ways that you can build authority. Authority can happen through word of mouth, through your services, how you communicate your knowledge and expertise, the level of expertise that you build, your reputation. Also, you can build your authority through social media, specifically through LinkedIn. You can start to share content, engage with people, share your knowledge and expertise. Now, maybe some of you are already doing this, and that's easy for you, and that is great. So I'm going to share with you 5 different ways that you can build your authority. Number 1, it's important to connect with your target accounts. So I always say it's not about the amount of people that see your content, it's the right amount of people. So it's important to have a hit list of people in industries that you want to do business with. So, and I'll talk a little bit more about that when I talk about generating leads and creating your ideal customer profile and customer persona. So it's critical to think about your ideal clients and then create content to those markets and who they are and what they do. So number 2, it's important to create content that shows your expertise. Write posts, share pictures, create videos, educate about what are their biggest problems. So think about, okay, so for example, Zoho sells CRMs, CRM services and beyond, technology, marketing and everything. So they think about their ideal customers, whether it's the user or the decision makers, and think about what are some of their problems? Biggest problem, a lot of people that use CRMs or marketing services is sales. So that's one of the reasons why they're probably running this webinar, I'm guessing, or they're probably creating a lot of content around sales because they want to share their expertise and knowledge to help their customers. And that's how we build trust with our customers. So it's important to educate, inspire, and connect with your customers. Now, I don't have like a specific formula. What is the best, like what's going to get you the most engagement videos? That's not something that I have expertise in. But I do know that when you share something that is going to solve your customers' problems and you give a lot of information for free, they're going to be subscribing to you and following you. And then when you come to want to share maybe one of your products or services, or maybe reach out to them in an email and say, hey, I'd love to have a meeting with you, they're more than likely to want to have a meeting with you because you've already warmed up that lead through creating that content and sharing your expertise. And there's actually something called the trust equation, which was written by, I forgot his name, but he wrote the book called The Trusted Advisor. And he wrote the trust equation is C plus R plus I. C for credibility, R for reliability, and I for intimacy. So in regards to the C plus R plus I, think about credibility. So when you're sharing content, that shows credibility, that shows your expertise. In regards to reliability, I guess that happens obviously when you're delivering the services, or you're reliable, like you respond to them in a timely manner, or you show up on time. And intimacy is sharing something that makes you real, like a real person. I'm not saying sharing your biggest traumas or things that are very personal to you, but sharing something like a story. For example, working from home in COVID, and if you had children and how difficult that was, that could show the intimacy, the authenticity of, then other people be like, yes, I can relate to this person as well. Okay, so number 3, educate more and pitch less. So successful entrepreneurs, what's his name? Successful entrepreneur Gary Vee, if you've heard of him, he wrote a book called Jab, 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 Right Hook. That means jab, 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 give, 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 right hook, take. So a lot of people, what I see is they're just constantly sharing about, they're sharing their logo, they're sharing about, come book my coaching services, or come to our recruitment services, or check out our software. And that's every post that they're doing. They're not sharing anything of value. So what do you think will happen when people are following you? They'll eventually unfollow you because that becomes annoying. I'm not saying for you not to share about what you're selling. Of course, do share. But if you post 3 posts giving something, sharing something of significance, of information, of education, of inspiration, then you say, hey, I've got this seminar, or I've got this software, I've got whatever, people are then going to be like, okay, let me check this out. And they're not going to be so annoyed as well. Okay, and then number 4, contribute and engage and respond. So that means that a lot of times we go to networking events and we have great conversations with different people, right? Now you can have great conversations through someone's post with many different people. So for example, I don't know if you can see the slide there. There's this guy, Mark Boris. He's a famous businessman in Australia. And this guy beneath just commented something, and maybe someone could comment underneath, and they just have a great conversation as well. So it's really important to contribute and engage. And as well, the more you give, the more you like people's posts, the more you are commenting, the more that they'll do that on your posts as well. And number 5 is boost the algorithm. So that means that, firstly, I said to you, that could contradict my first point. It's not about the amount of people that see it, it's about the right amount of people. But how do we get the right amount of people to see your content? The content needs to stay in the newsfeed. So LinkedIn, if the content is not good enough, LinkedIn kills your content within 24 hours. It takes it off the newsfeed. So for example, if no one has liked it within the first hour, LinkedIn would say this post is not good enough, and it does not show up on the newsfeed of your target accounts. So for you to keep that content in the newsfeed of your target accounts, my recommendation is engaging with other people and saying, hey, sending them your link, saying, hey, do you mind liking this post? Or what do you think about this? Do you mind contributing to this post? Or maybe you can tag some people that you trust and they could tag you back with their posts. But the most important way that you can boost the algorithm is for you to engage with other people, as my point 4, engage with other people, and that way they will engage with you. Because actually one of Cialdini's principles of influence was something called reciprocity. So I scratch your back, you scratch mine as well. Okay, so I shared with you 5 key points of how to build your authority. So once you are going into that inbox and prospecting and generating the leads, people are going to be more open to having a discussion with you because you've built that know, like, trust. So I'll go through the points again. Connect with your target accounts. Make sure it's the right people that are seeing your content. Create content that shows your expertise. Educate more, pitch less. Contribute, engage, and respond. And finally, boost the algorithm so your content can stay in the newsfeed and the right people can see your content as well. Okay, so part 2 is what we call the lead generation. So firstly, we did the warming up, building that reputation. Now it's the lead generation time. So lead generation is about then creating our target accounts and then being able to reach out to those accounts and engage with them and then take that conversation offline as well. And as I said, it doesn't really work if you are just posting and you're not engaging with people in the inbox. You're missing out on a lot of opportunity to close deals. Okay, so the next slide is sales pipeline example. So as you can see at the bottom, we've got close. And at the top, we have lead generation. So for us to be able to close, hypothetically, say 8 deals, and this is a hypothetical number, every number is different, we need to have a lead flow coming through. So we'll have the leads coming through. It could be just random people that we don't really know much about. Maybe they don't qualify. Then we start qualifying them based on some data points. So perhaps the company size, how much staff they have, how much they're growing. Even LinkedIn Sales Navigator will show you the percentage of the company is growing in regards to staff. Okay, you could have a specific industry, specific job titles, and then you qualify those. So maybe there's, out of those 350, there's 220 that qualify. And then maybe we've made contact with 110. We've reached out to them. And one of the ways is LinkedIn, but also we've used the phone, we've used email, we've used other methods as well. And then from those 110, maybe in that month, maybe 40 said yes to a demo. And then we've sent 25 proposals. From that 25, there's 12 that are evaluating. And then there's 8 that close. So for us to be able to generate leads and fill a pipeline, sales pipeline, we have to have a flow of leads coming through. And we cannot just rely on marketing to bring inbound leads. We have to be going out there and actively hunting for those leads. And I always find that, yes, marketing leads are important. They're great when people are coming inbound. But a lot of times when people are coming inbound, there's a lot of competition. They are probably talking to 4 to 5 different vendors, or maybe sometimes more. But when you go out and you create that opportunity, you are probably maybe the only competition in that specific time. Okay, so don't be shy of going out, and it takes longer, it's a lot harder, there's less people that want to talk to you, but once you get to the right people and you get to that right opportunity, you don't know what could happen. You could get to that one decision maker that's turning over, I don't know, $50 million in the year, that's growing rapidly, and they might need your services or your products, and you've just jackpot, right? So don't be shy from engaging with people because it's a numbers game. Of course, we have to qualify people and have the right amount of people and have the right customer personas and profiles. But if you're not reaching out to people, so for example, you could get the attention of 1 out of 30 people, and maybe you might book a meeting with 1 out of 40 people, hypothetically. Okay, and that's a very high number. But if you don't, and then say you reach out to 3 people in 100 people, you could get 3 meetings. And from those 3, you might get a huge deal from that one, right? And I'm giving you worst case scenario numbers. So if you are shy to reach out to people, you've missed out on 3 opportunities, you missed out on 1 sale, if that makes sense. Okay, so I spoke about lead flow. The next slide is 6 best practices for generating leads through LinkedIn. Number 1, before I go into the LinkedIn Sales Navigator, is it's important to create accounts and a lead list. So how do we create accounts? Number 1, we have to understand our ideal customer persona and our buyer persona. So ideal customer persona is a type of company that you want to do business with. So company size, headcount, industry. Then the buyer persona are the decision makers that sit within that ideal customer persona and who they are. So maybe it could be their age group, is it a female, man, what are their biggest problems, what are some of the job duties, what's their role, what is their biggest goals in this business, where do they usually hang out, which networking events they hang out, etc. Where can we find them? Okay, so that's number one. Number two, look at company insights. So company insights is you can see whether a company is growing through their headcount or they are not growing. You can have a look at what they've been posting. Even you can look at some of the technology that they've been using through the accounts on LinkedIn. And I'll share this with you as well. Number three, it's important to map out different decision makers. So we have the big decision makers in the C-suite, maybe CEO, general manager, CFO. Then we have the more in the mid-level management. Then we have people that are users and different influencers within that company. So I would map out different people and how I can build relationships with different people in that account. So sometimes I might have to build a relationship with people on the front line in order for me to get sponsored up. Or sometimes, people in the top to get sponsored down as well. Now, number four, create sales and marketing touch points. So I've been talking to you a little bit about how you can build your authority, create touch points, but just to clarify what that means, in sales and marketing, people need at least 20 plus touch points. Now, I'm not sure the exact number, but 20 plus touch points in order to want to do business with you. Because they need to know who you are, they need to like who you are and your brand, and they need to trust your brand. Okay, so it's important to create different touch points as we are generating leads, and that's through the phone, through email, through LinkedIn, creating content, and also through our marketing team. So if we have marketing, maybe there's some automated articles that they're engaging with, maybe there's some ads that are coming up. So by the time you get on the phone and you're speaking to that person or you send them that LinkedIn message, they are familiar with your brand. Number five, engage with them through the inbox. And I'll share with you how you can do that exactly, like the types of levels of messages that you can send them. And finally, take that conversation off LinkedIn. So never have a sales conversation through any texting, email, or a LinkedIn message. Okay, if they ask, maybe they say, look, send me your website details, whatever, that's great. But for you to discuss things about your products or services, it needs to be offline because we need to obviously do a discovery before we can even give them any solutions as well. So this is a part where I'm going to be sharing my LinkedIn Sales Navigator. Okay, so when it comes to LinkedIn Sales Navigator, there are many different ways you can use it. So I said, create account list. So here is where you create account list, and the account list is the companies that you're targeting. So as I spoke to you, create your ideal customer profile. So what are some of the data points that they need to have in order for them to qualify as a customer? And I'll share with you how you can even do that through the search function of different accounts. And then here you have your lead list. These are the actual people in those accounts that you want to have conversations with as well. Now here I put lead list one just for this demo, but I would put the company name or the lead list name, whatever you want to name it here. So let's do a quick search for an account. So for example, say I wanted to target an industry in financial services. So that's part of my ideal customer persona. So I would go to, actually give me a sec. So firstly, I start with maybe the revenue, right? So Australian. So let's say I wanted to target a company that's between 2.5 to, I don't know, say 100 million. Let's just say that, add. And then the company headcount, I wanted to, because I'm selling software and I need to have, a significant amount of users for that software, maybe I might target a company that has over 51 staff, between 51 to 500. Because I know once it gets beyond 500, it's going to be a very complex sale. So initially I just want to keep it narrow. Okay, and then, so we've done the heads. Okay, and here is I like this one too. I want to target a company that is growing in their headcount, because maybe if they're not growing, perhaps, might not be making money. I'm not sure. And that's just an assumption, by the way, right? So I want them to be growing by at least 3% to maximum. So did I put 3%? I think I need to put, maybe let's just put 120% add. Okay. And then over here, the location. So that's part of the data points. They need to be, let's say Australia, because I'm in Australia, right? And we can put maybe Oceania. Okay. And then industry. So in the industry, I want to target, let's say I want to target financial services. So this is basically my ideal customer persona. It has to be a company between, and that's just not my actual customer, but let's just say this is a hypothetical situation. A company between 51 to 500 staff, that's growing 3%, that's located in Australia and the Oceania, financial services, okay? So I've really narrowed it down. And here, don't worry, like number of followers, I don't really care about number of followers. I don't really know what this is, Fortune, if someone knows. Oh, Fortune maybe 500 or something. Okay, and technologies used. Okay, here you can look at, if you want specific technologies that they're using, there's a whole list of technologies that they're using as well. So here I've really narrowed it down. I've basically, this customer persona that I'm targeting is very, very specific and very narrow. Now, if I want to make it like wider, maybe then I have to open it up to more industries, right? Maybe financial services, and perhaps let's say let's say technology, for example. Okay, or maybe I might need to then maybe get companies that are a little bit smaller to go wider. But for example, from that list, say I think I had 94, then I might target 50 accounts that I want to work with. And then I click here and then I save them, and then they go here into my account list. Now, I start with the accounts, then I'll go into the leads and the people. But then I go into the account, then I create a map. I need to know who they are, who these people are, like where they sit in the decision-making process, because this will really help me. And I mean, this is not just for LinkedIn. In sales, B2B sales, enterprise sales, they've been doing these maps for a long time. So tier 1 is the decision maker. So and you can move these around the way you want. You know, maybe there's this general manager here. We might put him here. Then we might put tier 2, so the mid-level managers here. And then finally here, people maybe on the frontline staff that could help us to get to that person. Now, over here, we can see this company has not grown much, right? So we might be like, okay, do we want to, I would have already maybe done the filters and things like that. But maybe I would think, is this an organization I want to target? I might do some more research about them. And I said, we need to know insights. So we have to, when we're targeting a company, we have to understand what are some of the insights. For example, different distributions and functions and headcounts. Okay, so it shows in business development, it's gone down. So I'll definitely, me personally, I would not be targeting, I don't want to, but maybe I might not be targeting this company because I'm a sales trainer and it doesn't seem like they're growing in their sales. But who knows? As I said, I'm making an assumption. Maybe they have a very small team now that need a lot of training. So it just depends. I have to kind of use my intuition and common sense and do a little bit more research. And maybe just reach out to one person, say, hey, I've got a few questions. I'd love to know, are you guys, how do you currently run your sales training? And have a conversation, open up that conversation and qualify them that way. Because I don't always recommend qualifying people just from doing this. It's important to qualify people, getting on the phone, talking to different key stakeholders in the organization in order to qualify the right people as well. Okay, you can look at new hires here, job openings. Do they have any job openings? Here you can look at the different people. So here it's got recommended leads in that account as well. Okay, so now let's go to, I'm going to give you an example of leads. So these leads are the people in those accounts as well. Now here I've got random leads. So let me just, okay, I'm just going to go to this lead. I don't know who these people are. I forgot. Okay, so let's go to here. So this is how it would work. The lead list, I can also get insights about, so this is Cole's group, right? So here I might want to message him, this person, so I'll send a message here, or I might want to go into his profile and then engage with his content. Okay, so I could look at some of the things. So it shows that this is the first time I've engaged with him. And then I create touch points that way. So it might show us 3 different shared connections, shared education that I've had with him, or shared work experience. So I'm creating more insights for my account, doing more research. And then finally, I might just click on this person. So click on his profile and then engage with his post that way. Okay, if that makes sense. Let me have a look. Let me just see. Did I miss anything in my points? Okay. Okay, and then if I go to the home page, I'll have a whole list of different accounts that I've saved, and then I could engage with their content there as well, right? You know, I might view their content, engage with their content. I might be doing this daily, like engaging with them, liking their posts, but be genuine in liking and commenting as well. Like, you don't want to be like, have something insightful to say. Or sometimes a lot of my one of my niches is employment services, right? So I genuinely comment on their posts, especially when they are sharing job ads, because I know that working in those industries is very rewarding. To work in employment services, helping unemployed people or people with disabilities into work. So I comment on those posts and say, hey, that's a great opportunity, because I know if I comment on that, it's going to open it more to the wider community. So you can even comment something very simple, because you just want to help the algorithm reach more people as well. All right. So as I shared with you, the second part of, increasing, being able to help your sales through LinkedIn, or increase sales through LinkedIn, is generating leads and understanding, creating different accounts, etc. So I'm going to go through the 6 points again. Then I'm going to share with you how to message these people and how to engage with them in messages. So the 6 best practices I just went through is create accounts for lead lists. And I shared with you a demo of an account very briefly, and then the lead, having leads as well. Okay, so the account, as I said, creating accounts is about the company insights. And the lead list, I didn't even do a demo about the leads. You can actually go into the lead search and look for company. So look for the customer persona. So look for the job title, the different decision makers, the geography of where they are, etc. as well. Okay. Number 2, look at company insights, and also look at individual insights. So if they're posting something on their LinkedIn, engage with them. When you reach out, you can make a reference to something that they've posted or something that you've seen. Number 3, map out different decision makers, but also, so look at company insights, but also look at individual insights, because when you are reaching out to somebody, you can make a reference to something that they've shared. So I've had people that I've coached through sales calls where they referenced a specific post of somebody that had just posted, and that person was very open to speaking to them as well. So they're like, wow, like they were quite excited that someone was following them and genuinely had something to say about their posts as well. And that post was something related also to the job, to that person's job as well. Number 3, map out different decision makers, find out who is who. Sometimes you might need to, when you're creating accounts in business to business, you might need to target someone in the front line, on the front line, or in order to get to decision makers as well. Number 4, create sales and marketing touch points. So I shared with you about it takes sometimes more than 20 touch points in order to do business with people. 5, engage through the inbox. And finally, take the conversation off LinkedIn. So how do we do that? I'm on the next slide, yeah? Okay, good. So how do we do that through? So what I would do usually, and this is my method that I'm sharing with you, and I don't always have the time to do that. Sometimes, there's a lot of people in accounts that I have not engaged with, and sometimes they've come to me, or sometimes I've just picked up the phone to speak to them as well. But this is what I usually do. So when somebody accepts my connection request in my account, or even outside my account, I might say, thanks for accepting my connection request. And it's that simple. I might not even, that's like, it's a lazy kind of, thank you for accepting my connection request. Sometimes when I send that message, I go into my profile and they might look at some things I've done. I've had a few people say, hey, I see that you're doing sales training and I'd love to get on a call with you, or I'd love for you to come and talk to our staff. Now, that's just from saying thank you for accepting my connection request. Other times, I might tell them a little bit more, hey, thanks for accepting my connection request. Here is a blog that could help your and specific staff or in sales or whatever. And I share something of value that way. Now, number 2 is I share something of value message. So for example, I might share an article that could be relevant to the industry. It doesn't have to be my article. It could be an article someone else wrote. I might share a video. I might invite them to a networking event. I might say, hey, I'm going to be in Brisbane in 2 weeks' time and I'd love to meet you. Or I'm having a small get together just to get people together and network and for other people to. So something of value without me trying to sell something. Or I might give them some free tickets to one of my webinars or introduce them to someone that can help them. Or it could be something like, hey, how's it going? I just wanted to say hello. Or it could be happy birthday, Merry Christmas, or whatever it is. Now, to be honest, happy birthday could get a bit annoying if they have a lot of connections and followers, because my happy birthday, I ended up not being able. So if anyone sent me happy birthday, I'm sorry, but like it took me, I don't know, 5 hours to respond to happy birthday messages. So, but that's okay. Sometimes, don't be discouraged. Sometimes you could just, by saying happy birthday or how's it going, you could be just opening up a great conversation with somebody. But to be honest, a lot of people, you might say, hey, how's it going? Whatever, they might ignore you, and that's okay. Some people do not check their LinkedIn. Some people don't log into LinkedIn, or some people just get overwhelmed by receiving lots of LinkedIn messages as well. Okay, so the value add message. Now, number 3 is craft a compelling message. So after I've created touch points, I've warmed up my accounts, I've engaged with them, I've added some value. Now I have that kind of permission maybe to go in and sell something to them. Now, do I always go follow those steps, say thank you for connecting and send the value add, and then send them a sales message? No. Sometimes they've been on my LinkedIn for a few years. I've been engaging with them. I've been sharing lots of valuable content, and I might go for that sales message straight away as well. Okay, so it all depends what your strategy is as well. So the sales message is about you asking for that meeting, and don't be shy. So the worst thing someone can do is when they reach out to me and say to me, hey, Rana, like they start asking me questions and they want to meet me, but they really want to. And then eventually they ask me for a coffee, and then I get there and they try and sell something to me. I feel like that's something bait and switch. I don't like that. I like people to be very direct. Like I'm even sharing with you, I've got these accounts. This is what I'm doing. And some of these people in the accounts could be on my webinar right now. I'm very transparent. I'm not hiding that I'm selling or I'm on LinkedIn to do business. Basically, I'm on LinkedIn to do business, at the end of the day. I love people. I love networking with people. I love helping people. That's really important. At the same time, it's important to be transparent about what you want and why you're on LinkedIn. So the compelling sales message goes like this. Okay, so we all know that in sales, we need to be able to find problems and fix them. So that's sales 101. But when you are crafting something compelling, I want you to think about the niche, the customer persona, the ideal customer profile that you're targeting, and try and speak their specific language. Because when you speak their specific language and you use terminologies that are relevant to them, they're more than likely to go, okay, wow, this person is a specialist in the industry rather than a generalist as well. So for me, one of my niches is something called employment services training. So when I reach out to people in employment services training, I use the term many times reverse marketing. Now, reverse marketing does not mean much to a lot of people outside of that industry. Reverse marketing basically means business development or prospecting, right? But I don't use the terminology business development, and I don't use the terminology prospecting. I use the terminology reverse marketing, because when I use that terminology, a lot of people go, oh, wow, she understands our industry. She speaks our language. And then they engage with me a lot more than just using general terminologies. So, and obviously I understand their problems as well. I understand in employment services that they need to have above 3-star ratings in order for them to keep their contracts. They have a lot of people that they hire that are not salespeople, and they have to pick up the phone and make sales calls. And they're hiring a lot of compassionate, altruistic people, but at the same time, they get nervous to pick up the phone. I understand that intrinsically, and I know that really well. So when I'm having a conversation with them, I know this is one of the biggest problems, is trying to get somebody on the phone that does not want to get on the phone, that really is just wants to help people, wants to genuinely sit down and counsel people. But at the same time, one of the jobs is to be able to help people get employed. You have to get on the phone. Okay, so I know this intrinsically. And so when I'm reaching out to people, I can have that kind of conversation with them. So I want you to think about a specific niche, or 2 niches, or 3 niches, or customer personas that you have, and think about what is their job, what do they do in that role, and when you are reaching out to them, how you can help them as well. So let me share with you the actual formula to be able to reach out. So number 3. So this is what I usually do. Number 1 is the reason why I'm reaching out. Number 2, make a connection with that person. Number 3, I'm the specialist in your industry or specialist in your job or whatever. And number 4, solution, how I can help you. So for example, I might reach out and say, hey, John, I hope you don't mind me reaching out. The reason I'm reaching out, I've been following your stuff on LinkedIn, and I might make a comment about a specific post that they posted. Or I might say, I've been following your stuff on LinkedIn, and I'm aware that you recently launched your online leadership course for C-suite execs. So that's the reason and the connection. I need to make a connection. Or it could be the reason I'm reaching out. I spoke to Mary in finance, and she said that you're the right person that makes decisions about this. Or the reason I'm reaching out is I listened to your podcast recently and you expressed that you're looking for this. Or the reason I'm reaching out is I read your letter to shareholders and you expressed that diversity and inclusion was something that is important to you. Or I read your CEO's letters to shareholders and they expressed that a diversity and inclusion was important to them. Maybe if I'm talking to them about recruitment and I work in disability employment, for example, right? And I'm trying to get people with disability into that organization. So that's the connection. Number 1, the reason and the connection. What is the connection? The connection is to show that you've done your research. So then number 3 is your specialty. So it's very brief. I wanted to give you the heads up about our B2B marketing services, specialized for coaches who have an online course for C-suite execs. We specialize in B2B marketing, and we specialize in creating courses for coaches like yourself, or you can even mention the industry that they work in or who they serve. So that is a specialty. And then number 4, solution. So very quickly, we have a database of 500,000 companies that turn over between 2 to 50 million in revenue and access, and have access to many execs who would be ideal for your program. So one of the solutions or problems that they're having is they don't have access to a whole database of C-suite execs or enterprise companies. And I've got a whole database of that. Okay, so your message when you're reaching out has to be very brief, short. It's not like a whole essay about all your features and benefits and data dumping. No. Okay, keep it brief. And finally, I would end it with a call to action. So actually, that's number 5, call to action. A call to action is, may I ask, is this something that you would be interested in hearing more about? Or I might say, if this is something that you could see yourself benefiting from, here is my online calendar. And I might put a link to my online calendar to set up a meeting. If not, no worries at all. Or it could be something more soft. Hey, check out this program, or I'm running this free webinar, or whatever it is. You have to have something, a call to action, so they can look at as well. Okay, so the formula, as I said, is number 1, the reason you're reaching out. Number 2 is the connection. You've done your research. Number 3, you specialize in whatever they are selling or whatever industry they're in. Number 3, specialty. Number 4, solution, how you can help. Very briefly, just pick one feature, one benefit that you think could be compelling. And finally, number 5 is a call to action, the next steps. You'd love to jump on the phone. Here's my calendar. Here's a link to something that you want them to check out as well. Okay, so I shared with you, number 1 is quite easy to send. Sorry, we should still be on this slide. So number 1, just for reference, this is a slide that I've been talking to you about. So ignore the next one. So number 1, that's quite easy. Thank you for accepting my connection request. Step number 2, value add, is very easy because you're giving something, right? But step number 3 is where a lot of people have a problem. And yes, a lot of times you might have people that are going to be saying, no, thank you. That's okay. Your job is to understand the numbers that you need to hit. So how many emails do I need to send or LinkedIn message do I need to send to get one meeting? If you know your numbers that you need to send 20 messages on LinkedIn to get one meeting, right? Then you might be sending 100 messages and get 5 meetings and make 3 sales, right? So it's not about trying to reach everybody and getting offended that people have ignored you or were rude or did not respond to you. That's okay. It's about you understanding your numbers. It's a science really as well. And then going, okay, so I need this many emails to be able to get these many meetings as well at the end of the day. And remember what I shared with you, the sales pipeline, and I shared that you have to have a lot of lead flow and you have to move them into down the sales funnel until you close a few deals as well. Now, something else is if you are very niche and you speak their language and you are the specialist, the appointments that you'll be setting is going to be a lot higher. Now, I said 1 out of 20. That's a pretty good number, by the way. But it's going to be a lot higher because you are speaking their language. If you're generalist and you're just saying, you know, we help everybody, we're digital marketing service or we're a coach, blah, blah, and it's the same kind of message without something compelling, without something, a connection to who they are, you've done the research, then you might be sending 100 messages and not getting one meeting, by the way. And I've done both. I've done the messages, the copy and paste, nothing very specific to them. And I've done the one where it's very specific, very niche. And my niche emails get opened, my niche messages, even my niche emails get opened up so much more than my generic emails as well. Okay, so the last few points, I think that, yeah, there's 26 slides, I can see. The last point is LinkedIn is one of the tools, not the only tool. Your accounts on LinkedIn need to also be in your CRM. So those accounts, the maps, everything. So when we're creating accounts, we can't just think of the LinkedIn strategy. It has to be a combination of different prospecting tools in order for us to then get to the right person. There are people that have not logged into their LinkedIn for 6 months to 1 year. I know people that don't have LinkedIn accounts, big decision makers. I know people that don't even have their password for LinkedIn. And I know other people that don't even check their messages on LinkedIn. So if you have an account with different decision makers, yeah, there's some people I can get to them through LinkedIn, but there's other people I need to get on the phone. I need to email them. I need to go to the networking event they hang out at. I might need to get a referral to speak to them. So there are many different ways that we need to get through to these people. And we have to think of it as one of the tools, not the only tool as well. Because once you get comfortable hiding behind the computer, sending emails, it can get very comfortable. And I've done it where I was like, oh, I don't feel like picking up the phone. And I didn't pick up the phone for several months. And yes, my sales did suffer. I was getting popular. I was having a few meetings, but there are many times where I pick up the phone and I talk to somebody and I get that meeting, because after face-to-face connection, the second best type of connection is voice-to-voice connection as well. And then I think LinkedIn is great too, because we have our pictures there. Make sure you have your picture, because a lot of people don't respond to people without pictures as well. Okay, so now finally, do's and don'ts. I'm not going to go into that, to be honest, because I'm running out of time. But let me just give you some do's and don'ts very quickly. Like, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail. Okay, so don't sell off the bat. Don't spam people. Don't have a photo of your logo. Have a professional photo. Don't be a lurker. Don't just add random people. Be very specific about who you want to add. Don't be all about yourself, and don't just blast people with marketing messages. Do send personalized messages, contribute to discussions, do stay visible, consistent. I actually stopped posting on LinkedIn as well, and I noticed a specific market of my sales, inbound sales, was missing as well, because I was not consistent. So stay consistent. It takes a lot of time and work and effort as well. Target target your accounts. Reach out and see how you can help people. Many times being on LinkedIn is also about helping people. It's like networking events. Who can you introduce, how you can help them, how you can be a service to them, because it's about reciprocity as well. And yeah, have the courage, start interesting conversations, post something. If you're a bit shy about posting your opinion, start posting questions. Ask people, okay, so, I was thinking the other day, what is your opinion about this? And get people engaged. And then maybe the next stage, it could be about posting your little opinion. And then the next time it could be something educational. The next time you can even have the courage to just jump on video. Any more questions?
Thank you so much, Rana, and have a lovely day, everyone. Really appreciate you joining us again.